Hey, it's Mikey Mike. Hey, we're at Lake Isabella, and it's June 7th, and there was a little bit of kiting here. We're here for the weekend, just a basic launch. It was a crazy weekend. This is a video with a lake rescue, and it was me. So we're working on our skills here, doing pretty good, getting across the lake, and we're on a 5.7 Cabrini board with a 11-meter Switchblade. Winds were pumping. And they were pumping all weekend, and I was doing really good up until I got a little air and crashed right next to the beach. So a little view from the kite cam, just kind of going back and forth, just mowing the grass like I normally do, having a great time, working on my transitions, a nice jibe here with the bottom loop or down loop. And there's our campers and tents right there off to the side there. And I got my down loop jibe transition going toe side. Everything's working out really well. And I'm going to go back the other direction and try to unspin my bar without killing myself. So managed to do that. So making it around the other way. And the bar's still a little unspun or spun up here. We're going to try to unspin it as soon as I get it going up and grab the right control this time and making it back towards the shore. And a little air here, really nice. Land it and perfect. Was a pretty good sized jump, I thought. And then actually got a little bit more air here and then crashed the kite. And this is where everything goes bad. So I'm about, I don't know, 25, 50 yards off the beach here, and I have pretty good money in the bank. I'm upwind from the where we're parked at. So I figured I could swim back to the beach pretty good. But the kite bow tied on me, and that was pretty much it. So the winds were blowing really hard, and then they even picked up worse. So my kite flipped up inside out and then tied into a big knot. So as soon as it hit the water, I see the area that I need to get to. So I'm trying to relaunch the kite because I've had this happen before, and I was able to get the kite relaunched, but struggling here. So I'm pulling one line. It's basically what happened is the lines got tangled on the wingtips together, and nothing was helping here. So I tried one line and the other, and then it's laying on its back. So I tried the center lines to flip it, and that didn't work. So I'm trying to let it work itself out here, because if I can get the kite in the sky, no issues. So I see my board off to the side there. So here we go, another swim again. I'm going to start swimming towards the shore. I probably should have just kept swimming towards the shore. I might have made it, but it was super close. I figured if I swam on my surfboard, it would be easier. I would probably pick up some speed. Plus, I didn't want to lose my board. So making it towards the shore here. And the wind just picks up like crazy. You can see it just water spray just shooting all over me. So right then I decide I got to ditch the kite. So I hit the release and flagged the kite out. Didn't actually ditch the kite, but flagged the kite out and continued my paddle towards the shore. But the winds were up, and it was a super big header here. And I think it was Doug out there on the water. He's trying to come help. I can see him. He was so close. It must have been about, I don't know, 10, 15 yards off the shore now. And the wind is just howling, and I am not making any ground at all. So I see that I'm getting further and further away from the shore now, and it is just pulling me back. So I'm going to give it another try. And it's not easy to paddle on top of a surfboard with foot straps. It might have been better to just kind of push the board a little bit and swim, but I didn't want to lose the board one, and I could have used my leash to hook it up again, which I did in a little bit. But yeah, it was, everything's a learning experience. So and I'm still getting further down, and the further down you go, the further away from the beach you are too, because it kind of curves around towards Reds Marina, and it makes it really difficult. So once I found out that I'm not making any ground here, and I know that there's nothing they can do on the beach for me, it's time to get into rescue mode. So now I'm just like, okay, it's struggle time here. The kite's just kind of flagged out, and I grabbed my leash from the back. This time I remembered, and I put it on my little catch there. Yeah, this was no fun, and the winds were up and down, blowing all weekend really strong. There was probably some 40-mile-an-hour gusts a couple times coming through, which was fine, manageable. I was on a 9-meter yesterday, and then we're on the 11 today. So the problem is it's kind of knotted up, and it didn't flag out. So I had to actually pull the safety line, and I'm trying to be real cautious of this because I didn't want to get tangled up in the lines like happened the last time. So I'm being real careful to make sure the kite's flagged out before I start winding this thing up. And this wind up was pretty much a crap show. I did what I could do. There was still tension in the line, and kind of had to do a bar over bar kind of movement, which was kind of crazy. So anytime you get to practice self-rescue, make sure you do it. I mean, nobody wants to practice self-rescuing, but you know, hey, it happens. I know what I'm going to do this afternoon is be untying this giant rat's nest of bar after I get this video done. So you see I'm quickly moving away from shore fast, and I'm heading out to the center of the lake. And I'm pretty confident the guys are going to call the rescue boat or hail a boat or somebody to come get me. If not, it's just a nice float all the way to the other side of the river, and then I'll figure it out when I get there. So I wasn't panicking. It is what it is. You just kind of got to deal with it. Fortunately, it wasn't super high swells. Super windy, though. You can see the gusts and stuff coming across. So I got my board there. I do have a PFD, a life jacket that I wear that's inflatable. Didn't have the need to use it. I had plenty of flotation with my board, my wetsuit, and then the kite still attached. So wasn't in a bad position. Just trying to get these lines wrapped up with some serious wind pushing against the kite. And it was very windy. It doesn't look so bad right this moment, but it was actually really windy. And as you're kind of moving with the wind, it doesn't look as bad, but you can kind of see those headers hitting across the water. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get this kite wrapped up, because there's a lot of tension on the lines still. So we make it back to the kite, and it's still kind of in a twisted knot mess here. And the water was fairly warm, which was really nice. It was cold outside. It was kind of a cool wind, but the water was fairly warm, so I was comfortable. Just trying to manage the situation, get the kite flipped back over. So I'm going to walk myself around the leading edge to try to get the kite to flip. There's still a few lines in the water. I wanted to make sure I didn't get tangled up with those if the kite did something crazy. So I was being real cautious of where the lines were and where I was. Just taking my time, because there's no swimming back to the shore, that's for sure. You're going to just end up on the other shore. So I figured with the kite on the leading edge, I could kind of assess the situation, try to figure it all out, and then get the kite flipped over and kind of use it as a sail. It's kind of amazing that I actually had the GoPro footage of the crash and on the kite. So I have my bar. It's a little further away from me, and I want to try to grab it, and still have a few lines to wrap up on it. And there was no rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to get them out of my way. So you can see that rat's nest that I got going on there. That's going to be a fun trick today to try to get untangled. So an awesome foil boarder, he was able to come downwind and be able to make himself back upwind. He just kind of let me know that they called the patrol boat, and Lake Patrol is on the way.
Okay, cool. Okay, no problem. I'm doing okay.
So we're gonna get the kite flipped over here and got everything all tied up, and the one big issue is my lines are just kind of, wingtips are just tangled. And I wanted to kind of sail towards the shore and not towards the, I don't know, the north east or northwest. I wanted to go southwest or southeast. But I guess it really didn't matter, so you know, as long I'm gonna get there eventually. And then I see the Lake Patrol pulling up.
Okay. I got him tied up.
He's asking if I have my lines tied up. Where's my lines? He didn't want to approach the kite and me and cause another hazard. So I'm just sitting there waiting for direction, and we'll get this managed here pretty quick. This whole incident took about 30 minutes. I was only in the water about 30 minutes from kite crash to basically back to Red's Marina. So it was super fast. These guys came in from Kernville, had to jump in the boat and then hit the water, I believe. So that takes a little bit of time as well. So everything kind of worked out well. Almost had a ranger in the water.
Watch your hands, sir.
So he's going to try to pull the swim step down.
No problem. Okay. Hold on to it. Hang on, I'm on my leash still. You're what, sir? I'm on my leash. I just gotta get my leash in tight. All right, let's Okay, leash is untied. You, Lewis? Yeah. I need you up here. Okay.
So as soon as I let the kite go, I had to start swimming because that boat is going downwind quick. And I almost was having a hard time catching the boat. But I was able to manage it. And then put the ladder down.
Got it? Yep.
And the other...
Right there. Hold that black cap. Right there. And then unscrew the whole thing. Come on board, sir.
So note to the self, there's a big metal bar over your head. Always wear your helmet. I would have knocked myself out right there. If you can see the bar on the other side, when I got up from the ladder, I smacked my head right into the bar. And that boat's going up and down about 3 or 4 feet. So once again, I was wearing a PFD, so definitely is you know, it's a nice thing to have. Definitely a nice thing to have. Didn't have to use it, but it's good to know that it was there.
Right up there. All right. We're going to take you into the launch ramp at Old Isabella, okay? Stand by.
They're trying to get the boat all straightened out. Rangers are super nice.
You okay? Need medical attention? No, I'm good. Where'd you come in at? Auxiliary. Okay, right on the shore or the launch? Just past Red's Marina. You want to drop in Red's? It's Old Isabella. Yeah. See if we get in there. We're going to get you to the marina. Or the launch ramp. The boat ramp is fine too. What's the closest to yours? I'm in the middle between Reds and Washington.
Reds is closer, and we'll have a better approach here with helping him.
Yeah, no worries. I can walk over from Reds.
You're okay? You don't need medical?
No, I'm just winded.
Warm enough?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah, no
What
problem.
happened?
Crashed right by the beach. Kite did a bow tie. Started taking me out. I must have been 20 feet off.
So get a little info. They were really super nice, helpful. Safety was, super important to them. So made myself onto the dock. Like I said, it's about a 30-minute adventure from kite crash to rescue.
Oh, that's no problem.
I was getting ready to take it off just in case that thing took off on us. So I was like, I at least want to keep your GoPro, even though it's cheaper than the kite.
Right? Well, the helmet got all the footage this time. The kite cam was dead, so.
So you got us rescued you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you email that to us?
I probably could if you give me your, just text me your email. You have my phone
You got a
number.
phone number? Okay,
You have my phone number.
That'd be cool if you could send it to us.
I'll see what I got.
Always look for good.
I'll see what I got. Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right, man.
Thanks, guys.
Like I say.
Yeah, I'll wrap this up here. Thanks. Appreciate the time we I ended up in the rocks.
We're usually a lot quicker.
That was pretty quick. Oh, were you? Yeah, they called right when I couldn't make the shore. I was literally from here to the Reds Marina to the shop, and then I was done. I was like, I'm out to sea. Yeah, this thing was in a big knot. There was no.
So it's nice to see Mike Joy and Andrew with a little curbside rescue here coming down the gangway here, and they pull right up. What perfect timing. They were on the other side of the lake visiting some people and helped me get myself back to the campsite. So it's Mikey Mike. Make sure you leave some comments. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my crazy adventures. All right, peace.